Hi, how are you today? The improved package has arrived. We're having it fitted in time for FP1. Have a look at the factory report.
What is up, people, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode here for round 6 of season 2. It is, of course, the Monaco Grand Prix, the jewel in the F1 calendar. We have some good news coming into this race weekend. We've got a new chassis part fitted to the car. Weight distribution, rear floor under tray. So that has been an improvement fitted to the car, and that should hopefully mean that we are quicker around this circuit. And that is not the only good news coming into this race weekend, because if we head over to Emma right now...
Hey, what could this be? Could it be a promotion to first driver? I think it might be. You read the details. You've earned it.
We have finally been promoted to first team driver at the Renault team. I'm so happy with this. It has taken such a long time, and I feel like it probably should have happened earlier, because we have been outclassing Nico Hülkenberg for quite a long time in this career mode. But nevertheless, it has finally come at one of my favourite circuits on the whole entire F1 calendar. If you remember back to season 1, we got a win here thanks to penalties boosting us up through the field, and then just sort of the strategy worked out perfectly for us, and then we just sort of defended, held our line, and made sure that nobody else got through. But now jumping into the practice sessions, of course, doing the R&D programs in the background for you guys, getting quite a lot of purple scores and finishing practice 1 way down in 17th position. But as always, FP1 doesn't matter. We haven't done any sessions or any practice programs that really suggest any sort of pace at the moment. These are the ones that count, and now we're going to be doing the qualifying run, and there we go, getting a purple score in that one at the end of the day, moving ourselves up into P3, and then also doing the race strategy one, and it should be a purple score on this one as well, which it is. Fantastic result for us, and we're very, very happy with that. That's a lot of resource points added to the team over this race weekend. And look at that, P4 after FP2. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, some drivers are on the super soft tyres. We're not really too sure relative to where we are about with the other teams. But, you know, it's good news at the end of the day, and it's looking positive going into the qualifying sessions. So, can we turn this good performance in the practice sessions into an amazing qualifying result? Let's find out as we head over to qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Here we are at one of the most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula 1 qualifying.
Here we go then, qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix, and this is the most important qualifying session across the whole entire F1 calendar. Overtaking at this circuit is extremely difficult, especially with the new 2017 cars, so getting a good grid position is vital in his qualifying session. Unfortunately, the rain came down very early on in this Q1 session, so it was vital that we got a quick lap early on in this session. So here we are going round the final corner into Rascas, into anti-nodes, and then down towards the line. Lewis Hamilton's already set a lap time, currently in P6 at the moment, but what about, is his lap time good enough for? It is second place at the moment, a 1:13.90, skidding it round Saint-Devote in towards the first corner. There we go, getting P10 at the end of the day, and there were a few surprises getting knocked out, Carlos Sainz and Danny Kvyat, but we did manage to scrape through in that qualifying session. It was all about setting your lap times early on in Q1, and then unfortunately the rain did come down in Q2, so unfortunately we were setting our lap times on the intermediate tyres, but a very quick final sector there put us up into P2 on the intermediate tyres of 1:24.969, but the rain eased off. The rain eased off through the final minutes of the session, and it was vital that we set really, really good lap times. Said vital quite a lot in this episode, but it was, you know, it was extremely important that we set these lap times late on in the session. It was all about being the last driver across the line. Unfortunately, there we damaged our front wing as we went fastest in the whole entire session. So we need to get back to the pits, and we needed to get that front wing changed if we had enough time to set some more laps, which we did luckily, and then we went out on the ultra soft tyres. It's dry enough for dry tyres, but with every lap that we do, the track is drying and drying, so it is really, really important that we are the final driver across the line. They're setting a lap time, putting us up into P4, but as the session goes on, more drivers will be improving their lap times, as you can see, now dropping down into P7. A few drivers, though, coming into the pits which means that for those guys, their sessions are most likely going to be over. But at the moment, we're about 2 seconds up on our previous best lap time, coming across the line, improving once again, and moving ourselves up into P3. But this is going to be our final lap time, just about crossing the line to go for one more final lap. Skidding there, round in towards the second part of the swim pool, in towards Raskas at the moment, out of Q2. So we need this lap to be good enough. It's 1.4 seconds quick enough at the moment, coming down towards the line, but then we run out of fuel. Coming down towards the line, we lose a bit of time, but was it enough to get us into the top 10 shootout? And yes, it was. P7 at the end of the day, even though we run out of fuel crossing the line, but we still managed to get into Q3 alongside my teammate Nico Hulkenberg. I reckon I could have beat him at the end of the day. We lost about 4 or 5 tenths of a second because we ran out of fuel coming across the line. But P7 at the end of the day, we've definitely got a challenge to try and beat my teammate and see whereabouts we can put ourselves in this qualifying session. There are a few drivers taking penalties across this race weekend, so you know that is definitely going to come into it at the end of the day. But setting a lap time of 1:12.636, which is good enough for P4 at the end of the day, just behind the Red Bull driver of Daniel Cullen. But we're still in P4 right now as we come through the final corner now for our second lap here in Q3. We've got enough time for maybe a couple more laps in this qualifying session. Of course, with the rain coming down, we do have a lot more free sets of tyres in this session. So we go moving up into, still holding on to P4, but improving on a lap time there. And now, unfortunately, as Max Verstappen and a few other drivers do set lap times in this session, we do manage to improve a little bit there in that third lap, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough to boost us up the stands. We come around the final corner once again for lap 4 in Q3, currently in P6. Can we improve to go above Max Verstappen? Yes, we can. Moving up into P5 there, setting a lap time that is 1/10 quicker than our previous best, which was just enough there to beat Max Verstappen. Now we fly through the final couple of corners, through the first part of the swim pool, coming into the second part now, getting us close to that right hand, and then drifting it round through the second part of the swim pool there, down towards Raskas, a little bit of a lock-up on the front left, through the right, and then down towards that Anthony Nodes corner, nice and clean through there, then on the accelerator, use our DRS all the way down towards line. We're about 1/10 quick enough. Is it an improvement on our position? It's definitely an improvement on lap time, and unfortunately it just was not an improvement on position. But P5 at the Monaco Grand Prix in qualifying, that is an absolutely sensational qualifying session from ourselves here today. A circuit which I absolutely adore. I love it around this circuit, and with some penalties as well, who knows where we could start this race from. Of course, if you remember back to season 1, we qualified down in P12, and I think we started the race in P4. So, you know, anything can happen with penalties from the other drivers. But Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position at the moment for today's Monaco Grand Prix, with Valtteri Bottas in second. Sebastian Vettel is in third with Daniel Ricciardo fourth. There's myself with a fantastic qualifying session, splitting the Red Bulls once again. Max Verstappen lines up in P6 with Roman Grosjean 7th. Fernando Alonso, a great qualifying session there for the McLaren driver to put himself up into P8 with Lance Stroll in 9th. And Nico Hulkenberg, my teammate, rounds out the top 10. So, what can we do in today's Monaco Grand Prix? And can we make it back-to-back race wins here today? Only time will tell, but let's head over to the race for the Monaco Grand Prix.
As the drivers complete their preparations down below us on the grid, one man who's no stranger to the pre-race pressure is Anthony Davidson, who joins me in the commentary box today. Great to have you with us, Ant. I'm sure you can tell us all about what goes through a driver's head before lights out.
Well, from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Before we get into today's race though, let's take a look at the starting order for the Monaco Grand Prix. And lining up in pole position is Valtteri Bottas. But on the front row, for the first time ever in my career, it is myself in P2, Max Verstappen behind me in 3rd, and Roman Grosjean in 4th. Then Fernando Alonso lines up in P6, P5 with Lewis Hamilton down in P6, Lance Stroll in 7th, Sebastian Vettel taking a penalty to put himself in 8th, Ricciardo in 9th, and Hulkenberg in 10th. Then Sergio Perez in 11th, Kimi Räikkönen in 12th, with Felipe Massa in 13th, Carlos Sainz 14th, Stoffel Van Dorn 15th, and Esteban Ocon in 16th. There's Pascal Wehrlein in 17th, Kevin Magnussen in 18th, with Marcus Ericsson 19th, and Danny Kvyat right at the back of the field after failing to set a lap time on the dry tyres in Q1. So there we are, P2 on the grid for the Monaco Grand Prix. This is absolutely amazing stuff for myself here today. We have a great chance of taking the lead very early on. We just need to have a perfect run down towards turn 1. At the moment, the strategy is fairly simple. One, starting on the old softs and pitting for the super softs. Of course, we're going to whack up the fuel load to give ourselves a little bit of rich extra fuel load for the start of the race. But here we go, the Monaco Grand Prix starting on the front row. So we go to 5 red lights. It is lights out and away we go. It's a good start compared to Valtteri Bottas. Straight away switching over to the right hand side. Bottas locks up and we have taken the lead on the first lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. A perfect start for ourselves, and also Max Verstappen moves up into P2. That is exactly what we needed to do. Get in front of the Mercedes driver very early on and then lead from the front. Of course, it is very, very difficult to overtake around this circuit. So for those two guys behind me, of Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas, to get through is going to be very, very difficult. Of course, then we have Lewis Hamilton still lining up in P6 at the moment. Of course, he has the McLaren of Fernando Alonso and the Haas of Roman Grosjean ahead of him. So it's going to be very difficult there for Lewis Hamilton to get past both of those to challenge us as well. But let's have a look at a replay of the start here. And it looked like it was a good start for myself, but just up the inside, down towards turn 1, puts off Valtteri Bottas. He locked up his front right tyre, and that allowed a gap for Max Verstappen to sweep through up the inside as well. And it was an absolutely unbelievable start in towards Massenet and the casino section, and holding on to the lead of the race. Let's have a look at replay once again on board with myself. And it was just a switch over to the right hand side to take the inside line. I could see that Valtteri Bottas was going to try and block us off, so I decided to switch it over, got the inside, and at the end of the day, Valtteri Bottas, he made the mistake, and we have taken the lead of the race. We're going to have a look in a moment at the replay of Valtteri Bottas to see exactly what went wrong for the Mercedes driver. And it doesn't really sound like he bogged down too much. It wasn't exactly the best of starts, but it wasn't exactly too bad. But that was the problem. The lock-up of the front right tyre, running it wide, nearly going into the barrier, like what happened to, I believe it was Lewis Hamilton back in Season 1, down towards that corner, who actually went into the barrier. But Valtteri Bottas loses out 2 positions off the start, and he is going to be absolutely gutted with that, as we now watch this battle unfold for 5th position between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. It's difficult to overtake around this Monaco circuit, but somebody hasn't told Lewis Hamilton as he goes side by side with Fernando Alonso up the hill down towards Massenet, and he gets the job done on the McLaren driver and moves up into P5. Up next for him is the Haas driver, Roman Grosjean. While that's going on, Stoffel Van Dorn is coming under pressure from Esteban Ocon side by side in towards Massenet through the left-hander and in towards the right as well. Esteban Ocon round the outside, but Stoffel Van Dorn holding it up the inside. Great driving from both of these rookie drivers in towards Mirabeau and then down in towards the Lowe's hairpin. Who's going to get the job done? Ocon still up the inside. Van Dorn holding it around the outside. He bangs into the barrier, and there's a little bit of his end plate flying off of his front wing there. Damage there for Stoffel Van Dorn. That's really going to affect him around this circuit. And now we are back on board with myself. Unfortunately, Esteban Ocon not able to get the job done there on Stoffel Van Dorn. But in towards the first part of the swim pool, into the second part now. Nice and tidy for myself at the moment. This is exactly what we need to do. Just keep it tidy. But we run it a little bit too wide in towards Raskas. That gave Max Verstappen a little opportunity to have a look up the inside there. But fortunately for ourselves, he was just not able to get the job done. And we hold on to the lead of the race. Setting the fastest lap there momentarily. But Lewis Hamilton taking that away from us, showing just how quick he is around this circuit. Of course, both Mercedes drivers are going to be hunting me down. But luckily with this circuit, it's difficult to overtake it. It's near impossible for anyone to overtake around this circuit. As we're going through the Nouvelle chicane, nice and tidy through there at the moment. We actually have a nice, decent lead over both Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas at the moment, as we come in towards the first part of the swim pool. Into the second part, losing the back end, massively under braking, and what a save that was. That was a heart in your mouth moment. That was so close. One little extra mistake through there, we could have gone straight into the barrier, and that could have been the race all over. That race win could have just snapped away from us like that. But luckily, that didn't happen, and we are still in the lead of the race. However, the gap that we had to Max Verstappen was over a second before that incident, and now it is unfortunately only 6/10. So we have both of these drivers right on my tail as we come in towards lap 15. I believe this is going to be pit stop time from ourselves. So this is going to be a crucial part of the race. We need a quick pit stop here from the Renault crew in order to stay ahead of both these drivers. If they fail to do that, I feel like it's going to be impossible for me to get past both of those drivers and hold on to the lead of the race. Here we go, into the pits for the first pit stop of the race. Valtteri Bottas getting service before us, but is our pit stop gonna be quicker than their one. Into the box we come. Valtteri Bottas has already been serviced. Whereabouts will this put us in contention with Valtteri Bottas? We get the job done. A 2.7 second stop. Not the best of pit stops that we have seen from the team, but it gets the job done. We're ahead of Valtteri Bottas, but unfortunately, it looks like we're going to come out just behind my teammate Nico Hülkenberg, which we do, but ahead of Carlos Sainz, who goes side by side now with Valtteri Bottas, all the way down, up the hill, in towards Massenet. Valtteri Bottas looks like he's going to get the job done around the outside, and then the inside in towards the casino section, which I think he has got the job done. Yes, he has, as now Carlos Sainz comes under pressure from the Force India behind him. But this battle between myself and Nico Hülkenberg and Valtteri Bottas just doesn't need to happen. I need Nico Hülkenberg to get out of the way, because of course we are battling with Max Verstappen as well, who might be coming into the pits on this lap. So we need to get past Nico Hülkenberg as soon as we possibly can. So Nico Hülkenberg, unfortunately, holding us up at the moment. 0.4 of a second is the gap, but following in the dirty air, it's not helping us, and he's just blocking us. We can be quicker than this, and we need him to hurry up. The frustrations are building up right now as I'm trying to just sit behind Nico Hülkenberg, not make any mistakes, but also see whether I can get past him at any point. I get very, very close, and then banging against the wall there, the second part of the swimming pool. That nearly ended our race. We're very, very lucky not to get any damage there, but coming in towards the right hand of Raskas, Nico Hülkenberg finally does come into the pits as we go through the final corner. Both of us gaining positions at the moment, but whereabouts is Max Verstappen going to be? There he is on the right-hand side as we go in towards Sander Vogt. Can we get the job done? Of course, he gets caught Sander Vogt, but we get the job done, and we hold on to position. Of course, Daniel Ricciardo yet to come into pits at the moment, but we're now watching this battle for third position unfold between Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. This is crucial for our own race. We need Max Verstappen to get past Valtteri Bottas, because of course Bottas is a lot faster than Verstappen in straight line, and that's where we're going to come under pressure, under the straight line sections of this circuit, even though there's not too many of those, as Max Verstappen goes into the wall, and I think he may have damaged a little bit of his front wing. I'm not too sure on that one, but they're still going side by side in towards Portier all the way through the tunnel section. Can he hold on to position Max Verstappen? I don't think so, and there we go. Finally, Valtteri Bottas gets the job done, moves up into P3, and that means that we are now going to be under pressure from the Mercedes driver. But we still need to be quick. Of course, Daniel Ricciardo yet to make a pit stop yet, as we cut ahead to lap 20. Still in second position at the moment. Under pressure from Valtteri Bottas, but still trying to put in the lap times to keep up with Daniel Ricciardo and make sure that he comes out of the pit stops phase behind us. But here goes Valtteri Bottas down in towards Sander Vogt. He's right on my tail at the moment. 0.2 of a second separate us two. He's got the straight line speed all the way up the hill, and he moves over to the left-hand side. Valtteri Bottas side by side as we go in towards Massenet, trying to hold it around the outside. So close between us two. Contact once again, wheel to wheel between myself and Valtteri Bottas. Got the inside line down towards Mirabeau, braking later than the Mercedes guy, and just about managing to hold on to position, but coming under a lot of pressure there from Valtteri Bottas, putting his mark and showing us that if we make a mistake, he will take that opportunity and move past us. So we need to make sure we make no more mistakes across the rest of this lap and hold on to position ahead of Valtteri Bottas. As we have a look at a replay now of exactly what happened between the two of us. He just got a much better run out of Sander Vogt, up the hill in towards Massenet, and he goes on the left-hand side, gets the inside line. We just about hold it around the outside, wheel to wheel, so close. There was a little bit of a bang there between the two of us, side by side, out of that corner, down towards Mirabeau. We had the inside line. We sort of squeezed him out wide a little bit. That allowed Max Verstappen also to have a little look, but unfortunately for Max, just not able to get the job done down towards the Lowe's hairpin, and he has to settle for P3. But it's very, very close now between not only myself, Bottas and Verstappen, but I think also Roman Grosjean getting in on the act as well. We're sort of like holding up both of those guys, but Ricciardo is into the pits right now, so this is going to be important. Whereabouts do we come out? Do we get the job done on the Red Bull drive and regain the lead of the race? Yes, we do there. Moving up into the lead of the race once more here on lap 24 of the Monaco Grand Prix. And this could be very, very important. Everything is looking very nice at the moment to get our second ever win in Formula 1 at the circuit where we got our first ever win in Formula 1 last season. So far, so good. Holding on to first position as we now watch this battle unfold for 5th position. Of course, Fernando Alonso sort of out of position thanks to the rain coming down in the qualifying session, but he's still holding on to P5 right now. Stroll is right behind him in P6 with Vettel not too far behind either. And then Ricciardo sort of amongst the mix as well as they go in towards Massenet and the casino section. But Alonso loses a back end and goes straight into the barrier out of the casino section. There is a lot going on at the moment. Cars getting held up by each other. I think there's contact in the background there between Kimi Räikkönen and Felipe Massa. And Kimi Räikkönen straight away has been awarded a stop-go penalty for dangerous driving. So not too sure what exactly Kimi Räikkönen did wrong there. He sort of got held up in the traffic jam that Fernando Alonso caused. We're going to have a look at a replay of what exactly happened to Fernando Alonso. So he comes in towards Massenet, goes through the left-hander, and then he's already lost the back end before he goes in towards the right, and he just can't catch it and just goes straight face first into the barrier. Reverses up, has a little bit of contact there with Esteban Ocon. Not too sure what's happened though to Kimi Räikkönen. Hopefully we get a replay of what happened to both of those drivers. But Fernando Alonso sort of getting back underway. Right, here we go, on board with Kimi Räikkönen. So he's following behind, I believe that is Lewis Hamilton ahead of him. Yellow flag's out, gets caught up in the traffic jam. Oh, that's probably why then. There you go, he just reversed up as Lewis Hamilton was pulling away. Kimi Räikkönen reversed up and then there was contact with Felipe Massa. So was that why Kimi Räikkönen got given that stop-go penalty? We want to have a look at replay on board with Felipe Massa to see whether that affected him too much, whether he would have stopped in time without Kimi Räikkönen reversing up. And maybe that was the reason why Felipe Massa now has a damaged front wing, was because Kimi Räikkönen reversed up on the circuit. You don't want to do that. That is a dangerous thing to do, to reverse up, especially at a very close circuit like Monaco. We're going to get another replay now as Kimi Räikkönen stops behind Kimi Räikkönen just there. That's where he reversed up into the path of Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa damaged his front wing, and that is why there is a penalty now for Kimi Räikkönen. We're now on to the final 2 laps of the Monaco Grand Prix. We have led it from start to finish pretty much, apart from when Daniel Ricciardo had that little stint from doing the different strategy. But coming through the first corner now, the gap between myself and Valtteri Bottas, 0.6 of a second. He has been right on my tail, as well as Max Verstappen, throughout this whole entire race. Unfortunately for Max, he's just dropped off a little bit at the end of this race, but Valtteri Bottas has always been there, right on my tail, pushing me all the way till the lines. We come down in towards the lowest hairpin. 0.3 of a second now, separating the two of us in towards the final couple of laps. In towards Portier, what can we do? We just need to make sure we don't make any more mistakes. We need to make sure that there are no mistakes across this whole entire lap. Like I say, one mistake and Valtteri Bottas won't hesitate to take that position and move up into the lead of the race. In towards the Novo chicane now and down towards Tabak. Still keeping a sort of a nice healthy lead over Valtteri Bottas. It's very difficult to overtake here, especially with the wider cars. 0.4 of a second now, the gap between the two of us. But like I say, with the wider cars, it is very, very difficult for us to not hold on to this position. But a bit of a mistake there through Raskas, running a little bit wide, has given Valtteri Bottas the chance to get very, very close to us, all the way down in towards turn 1. Here goes Valtteri Bottas, having a look around the left-hand side, down towards Saint-Devote. But we defend that perfectly, putting our car right in the middle of the circuit, and that gave Valtteri Bottas no option but to back out from going for that maneuver. 0.1 of a second separating us two as we cross the line. Still Valtteri Bottas very much on the back of my tail as we go in towards Mirabeau now. 0.4 of a second, so extending the lead just a little bit in towards Mirabeau, down in towards the Lowe's hairpin, and it looks like Valtteri Bottas maybe giving up on that position. Not very quick out of the Lowe's hairpin there, so maybe Valtteri Bottas deciding now just to hang back a little bit and hold on to P2. There's not really any opportunities for him to get past on this lap. The best opportunity is down in towards turn 1, and also for him up the hill in towards Mirabeau as well. So unfortunately there for Valtteri Bottas, I don't feel like he's going to have an opportunity unless we make a mistake. We're not going to start celebrating just yet. We've still got a handful of corners left to go in towards the second half of the swimming pool section now. We won the Monaco Grand Prix back in Season 1. It was an amazing strategy, and thanks to grid penalties that we got the job done. And it looks like we're going to do it again. Round the final corner and down towards the line. It is our second race win in the F1 2017 career mode, and it has happened at Monaco once again. What a fantastic circuit this is for us. Two-time race winner, baby. What a way to celebrate getting given the first driver role with a race win for the second time for Renault at the Monaco Grand Prix. You might as well start calling me Mr. Monaco because, you know, 2 races out of 2 at this circuit. We have done a fantastic job. Okay, we got a little bit lucky with the grid penalties to move myself up into P2 on the grid. And, of course, Valtteri Bottas making that mistake in towards turn 1. But we held our own. We made no mistakes and we did not allow Valtteri Bottas through. We had a slight little moment where we had the battle on about lap 20 there with Valtteri Bottas. But, like I say, we held our own and we held on to the lead of the race. And that is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing to get our second race win for a Renault in Season 2. I'm so happy with that result. But Valtteri Bottas finishes in second with Max Verstappen also making it onto the podium here today. Romain Grosjean, great result there for the Haas driver, finishing in P4 with Sebastian Vettel in 5th. Then it's Lance Stroll who finishes in 6th. Daniel Ricciardo 7th. Lewis Hamilton 8th. And Kimi Räikkönen 9th, with Felipe Massa getting the final championship point here today. Fernando Alonso just misses out on the points after that collision, finishing down in P11 with Sergio Perez in 12th and Esteban Ocon in 13th. Not a good day for either of the Force India drivers, which is good news for us. Further down the field, then we have in 14th place Carlos Sainz. Kevin Magnussen finishes in 15th with Danny Kvyat in 16th. Not a good day for my teammate of Nico Hülkenberg, who finishes down in 17th place. A 2-stop strategy, really not the way forward at this circuit, and that really cost him here today, down 17th and not scoring a single point here today. Pascal Wehrlein finishes in 18th with Marcus Ericsson 19th and Stoffel van Dorn right at the back of the field in P20. Drivers' Championship then after our race win here today, and we've boosted ourselves up into P3 in the standing orders ahead of Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, Kimi Räikkönen and Max Verstappen. What a result that is, and we're also not too far away from Lewis Hamilton, who actually has lost out a bit of ground to Sebastian Vettel in the championship. 33 points separating Vettel and Hamilton, and there are only actually 39 points between Vettel and myself. Of course, I'm not really looking at the Drivers' Championship this season, but if we start having more race results like this, then maybe it could just be a possibility that we do challenge with Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. But we're just taking the races as they come. P3 is a fantastic result at the moment, but I don't expect myself to stay there. If we can beat the Red Bull drivers, then that will be the goal achieved for the season. Of course, that is what I am aiming for. Constructors' Championship then after today's amazing result. We have closed up a little bit there to Red Bull Racing. The gap between the two teams is only 13 points in the championship. So there is still a chance to catch up to Red Bull Racing and maybe take that 3rd position in the Constructors' Championship. But we also need Nico Hülkenberg to start putting in some decent results as well to maybe boost ourselves up the standings and get that P3. Of course, also getting a big old gap now to Williams Racing and also Force India, which is really good news, but we need to stay there. We need to hold on to this position and make sure neither Felipe Massa, Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon or Sergio Perez get the better of us so that we can score more points than them in this season. But that is it for this incredible Monaco Grand Prix, our 2nd race win in our career. And if that doesn't deserve a like rating, I do not know what does. But if you have enjoyed this episode, don't forget to smash a like on it. Subscribe to the channel, of course, for weekly Formula 1 content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. And I will see you next time at the Canadian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.